All right, folks, we are back with more Burger King block. And next up is PocketBike Racer, being run by Conception. Take it away, Conception.
All right, hello everyone. Yes, my name is Conception. You might have just heard my vocal cords on the commentary couch for Sneak King just a moment ago. And we're continuing right along with the Burger King block, which now includes Adventure for the Atari by Canon. And
It's official.
yeah, it's official. It's official. And we're gonna be doing PocketBike Racer, which is essentially a Mario Kart clone, except you play as Burger King mascots and you ride around on very small motorcycles. But we'll get into that and a little bit more here. I have some people on my couch that might sound very familiar to you. If you'd like to introduce.
Hello. I'm Kefka14. You just heard me and watched me do a Sneak King run. Very happy to be here for the Burger King block, the first time ever.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm CC Neverender again. Again, I don't know why I'm here, but we're enjoying some burger time.
Yes, what makes this unique is I'm pretty sure most of the couch has mostly not seen this game, beyond maybe accepting it into the marathon enough to know that it is a video game that plays on Steam. So, yeah, we're gonna jump into it here. So let me go ahead and press start. We're not on time just yet. I'm gonna hit single player, and we're gonna hop on over to set up our tournament. We're gonna be doing the 150 CPs. Now, Crunchy, if you could give me one last check on our bid war, so I know who I am racing it.
Absolutely. Now, I was really hoping Subservient Chicken would have won, but Mama CJ came in clutch, and she hit me with a donation here saying, "Can it be the fabulous Crunchy Brown? I am here for you to get Gaffy and CJ chained together." And she put $25 over to the king, making him the winner.
All right. So we got the king. Yeah, just to flash through. So we have Brooke Burke, who was like a celebrity around that time, who was a part of the game. I think she was like a fitness or a model or something, perfect for Burger King. The Subservient Chicken, which is the chicken fries mascot when they came out. Whopper Jr., if you were around at that time, you might have seen a family in various size burger cost as well. Those were the main four I put on for the bid war. But of course, we gotta rock with the king, the OG, the absolute boss. And we're gonna be using the bike called the White Lightning, which is the fastest bike in the game. Yeah. And then we're gonna just get going here. Time starts at the countdown of the first map, which is called Parking Lot here. So I'll count it down, but also the countdown will be visually on the screen too. So here we go as we look up here.
King's been busy today.
Yeah, he runs an enterprise. He feeds people. He races people.
He sneaks.
He's booked
He's
and
a
busy.
busy man.
Yep. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. All right, so first map is called Parking Lot, is the most broken of all of the maps. There are 5 of them. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get about halfway. We're gonna turn all the way around, and then we're gonna start drifting. We're gonna hit this way. There's this little tire right here we're gonna kind of aim for and back up. And as you might have noticed, my lap counter went up. Yeah, you just have to go kind of like a third of the way through the map, turn back around, cross that line again, and it counts as a map increase. Map counter increase, I should say. This does happen though, which is sometimes that people just run into you head first and completely slow you down. You can't really control that too much, so you just got to do your best. I'll go over it on a map that's a little less wild. I'll go over what the colorful things on the ground mean and the meter on the right. But first, let me just get through these 5 laps here. We're already on lap 4, as you can see. We're cruising. They're over there just being chumps, taking the path, even like dev intended shortcuts perhaps. But yeah, this is one of the only maps here that has glitch based shortcuts as opposed to dev intended shortcuts. The others stay largely with like maybe one notable exception as dev intended. Whopper Jr., my guy, you gotta move.
Whopper Jr. has hit you every single lap.
The absolute menace.
He's got to been
The giant burger costume, man. It's got a hitbox the size of a Whopper.
Yeah, he is powerful. He is large and in charge. Okay, so we are on to the second track, which is called the backyard track. We're mainly using dev intended shortcuts here, and through this I'll go through a little bit more of what the game's intended mechanics are as we get loaded in here. First thing I'll point out is as we get the countdown, in Mario Kart, like you hold the accelerate button around like the 2-ish mark to get that initial boost. For some reason in this game, you want to do it like just after the 1 rolls, but before the timer finishes. That gets your initial boost. And so it's like it's a much smaller window than Mario Kart, a little less forgiving. But here we are, backyard track. So the colorful things that I'm driving through on the ground. So you can see there are different colors. You can see that they kind of attribute themselves to a meter that's on the right side of my screen. Now, as opposed to like Mario Kart, for example, Mario Kart has mushrooms, which give you speed boosts as an item that you can pick up on the map. These things that you can run over with, they decided to combine item boxes and boosts into kind of like one thing in this game. So you'll see various colors here. And essentially, depending on the color you run over, the meter on the right side will grow or not. Well, if you run over a color, it will grow. But it might only grow a little or a lot. And so either, what you can do with that meter, either you can press the B button and utilize it as a boost, and you can see the meter will decrease by a certain amount. Or you can use the meter on the right, and as you can see, there's like different tiers, different circles that are kind of that are attributed to various points in the meter. Those are items. So you can either stack up your meter to get like a really powerful item near the top, or as soon as you get a meter, you can utilize a power up, and whatever those power ups be. They could be a variety of different things. The first one there, that shield, it's actually way more, even though it's the first item that you can pick up, it's actually quite a powerful item. The shield not only protects you from other projectiles coming your way, but if you bump into somebody with the shield, they get like flung. Which is, for racing, it doesn't matter too much. But for other modes in this game, because there's like a battle royale mode and stuff like that, it matters a lot. But we're unfortunately not going to be utilizing any items, because boosting and getting through the maps fast is the main intention. So we might get hit by items once or twice, like landmines in the road, or you can shoot rockets at people, or there is a particularly evil one that somebody can hit you with that reverses your controls. So right is left, or left is right, and it's instantaneous. It's instantaneous. So like if you're like mid-drift, you get hit, you're going to start drifting the other way and fall off or something. That happens all the time. So it's it's a little scary. It's a little scary. But that's backyard track. A lot of unintended shortcuts there. Cutting through that fence section, cutting through the bushes, things like that, and then hopping the fence over at the end across the finish. All dev intended shortcuts in that.
This is, just from looking at this is clearly the best of the 3 Burger King games. There's a lot of in-depth stuff. There's a lot of in-depth stuff going on here. I actually really like what I see. Weirdly, like it looks playable. It looks fun. Yeah. This is I would say it is a mostly completely competent game in terms of like coding and programming. There are a few weird quirks that will actually, this map in particular could show off one of them. One weird quirk is, I said I'm using this bike that's called the Lightning, which has the biggest top speed in the game by far, but it handles awful as a trade-off. So because of that, oftentimes I will be like I'll be drifting, and drifting is really hard in this bike. You just kind of power slide endlessly, and you'll run into walls. And for some reason, walls in this game are like, they're like glue. Like you'll run into a wall and you'll just stay stuck to it. So sometimes I will take corners extra slow just to not run into the wall. Then I won't be able to kind of maneuver against it. It'll just keep me stuck there for an unnecessary amount of time. This map's called King's Garden. There is one non-dev intended shortcut that uses a dev intended shortcut as its basis, which comes up here. The other main tricky thing is this white boost you want to try to get, but for some reason it kind of is dependent on the direction that you're going, whether or not you'll grab it or not. If you kind of hit it straight on or too straight on, it won't activate. But if you don't hit it straight on, then it will activate. You kind of want to try to drift into it, so you get the way. And then here's the shortcut here. So you can see there's a ramp, so that is obviously intended for you to take a shortcut of some kind. But if you don't take the ramp fully, like you kind of just jump off the side of it, instead of taking you into this, technically a shortcut, but it's also partially like a topiary that's kind of round and you have to like drive around it. You take it and then you skip the topiary altogether. And honestly, you fly a little too far away from the path, but it's still infinitely faster than taking the intended shortcut there as you move. And then, third lap, same as the first two. And,
That's pretty much King's Garden in a nutshell. It's one of the more annoying maps because a lot of the turns are like right angle turns, as opposed to like curves or stuff that you could drift around a little bit. So it's a lot of like stalling to make sure you don't run into walls, making sure that you're not just flying all over the place. That's what we went 3 for 3 on the shortcuts, but they all took me kind of far away.
Out of curiosity, why, when you land after that shortcut, why do you back up instead of just doing like a loop and going forward?
Because oftentimes I'll end up hitting a wall and then I'll stop turning. Because
Okay.
I'll just get
Yeah, that makes
glued.
sense.
I'll get glued to the topiary. So as opposed to like running into the wall potentially and then getting stuck there, I elect to back up a little bit and then turn because it moves a little bit faster. On average, at least. Sometimes it's not fast. Can be. All right, so that is map 3 of 5. We're cruising along here, putting on our not our Sneak King domination, rather our PocketBike racer domination.
You said there's only 5 maps?
There's only 5 maps. That's all they put in this game.
We're 8 minutes into a 30-minute run.
This is a 15-minute estimate. It should not be 30. This should be.
Oh, it
15.
says 30 on the stream.
Oh, I am not sure. Not sure how that happened, but yeah, this is probably a 16-minute estimate for safety. Construction site, the 4th map here, has a lot of dev-intended shortcuts, which we will utilize throughout the run here.
I like
first
this
one.
map.
Yeah,
I'll
first
tell you
one.
what, if we get $25, we'll run it back. How does that
Just
sound?
do it again. There are other modes. Like I could
do.
show you a battle royale or something like that if we're gonna get wildly off schedule here. I'm happy to throw some bonus Burger King content your way.
See, I thought it was one of those things where it's like you beat the 5 tracks and you have to beat them again on like a harder difficulty or like backwards or something.
Thank goodness you do not. No, do not. I don't know what happened there estimate-wise, but yeah, this should be like a 16-minute estimate. It's not that long. All right, so let's blast here. This is the biggest shortcut in this map, which is just a fall down. But it is dev intended. They intended for you to do that, but it skips a large portion of it. Now this map is also the biggest of all 5 of them. So it only has 2 laps, which is nice. But it also has a lot of tricky turns right here at the end that kind of make you scoot through. But then we do the same thing. We want to back up here. Hop through this tube, saves you a good chunk of turning around. Now this jump can be a little bit tricky, deceptively, but there we go, we handled it pretty well. You can honestly, you get too much momentum, you start. Oh my goodness, that was weird. You start flying off the side there. We don't want that. Then we power through here, and then we actually take the shortcut in a very specific way, just a little bit of the lip there, so we can get the white. White is the color that gives you the biggest amount of boost. So if you can get white, then you're covered for a good. You don't have to worry about it. Otherwise, you might want to make an outside turn there to get red boost. Powerful boost.
The item system kind of reminds me of Diddy Kong Racing a little bit, where like if you get like a red balloon and then another red balloon, they like stack on top of each other,
Yes,
and like
yeah,
the power-ups get progressively more OP in a sense, quote unquote.
Yes. Yes, exactly. Yeah, it is. It's very similar to Diddy Kong Racing. It's a lot of the power-ups are very similar to Mario Kart. So it took a lot of predecessor type stuff to make this as successful as it was or wasn't, depending on how you look at it. But
we just got blinded, flash banged here.
Yes. Yeah, that is one thing that happens. You know, the ink blot version of this game. You know how it goes. But here we are, approaching the last map already, Fantasy Ranch. By far my least favorite map. It has fall-off points because of how the map is formatted. It has a lot of tight turns, which means that even if you're well ahead, racers can often hit you with items and mess up your run. So this track has the most variance of all of them. This part of the track in particular is the part I hate the most. I actually tend not to drift too much here because the handling of this bike is not very good. I'll usually, if I try to drift, I will drift off the side, and it's not effective. We have the one dev intended shortcut in this map that we take, which is through the path here, and we're gonna see a lot of me sticking to the walls here because these turns are very curved, but they're also tight. So even if I try to drift, It's either I have to like full stop to not hit the wall, or oh, there we go. Here's a good. This is the reverse controls, and I'm stuck to the wall. The combo. Yep. And little stuck to the wall there. Action. And yeah, that is one map complete. But we're largely getting away from people, which is nice. Got a lot of boost here.
Do you mind if I ask? I want to ask you and Kefka a question,
Yes.
which is, why did y'all pick up Burger King games to speedrun?
I'm gonna start because the reason I picked up Burger King games is because of Kefka, actually. So
That's
I
amazing.
run a GDQ hotfix show that's called Awfully Silly. Kefka was on my second ever episode of that show about 3 years ago, where I did a themed episode around food and snacks, basically. Kefka ran Sneak King for us. Oh, another twofer. There we go. And I was enamored by that game. I remember when they came out when I was a kid, and I wanted them desperately, but I didn't own an Xbox at the time, so there was no reason for me to have them. And then I seeing that these were speedruns that were both silly, which is obviously something I have an affinity for, and decently accessible, because even, oh my god, get off the wall. Even buying them nowadays, they're about the same price as they were back then, so they have not appreciated in value at all. And yeah, I learned not only Sneak King as a result of that, but I learned all three. I oftentimes run all three in one continuous block and call it the Have It Your Way showcase.
That's good.
Yeah,
I like
and
that.
which I beat all three. A category of all three in under an hour is the challenge.
It's a good challenge. I dig
Yeah,
that.
it's very, very fun. Very, very fun. But for Kefka,
And then
sure,
Kefka, yeah.
yeah. How'd you
Kefka,
get-
what did you
my,
pick up?
yeah, my story's a little stranger.
And
I
just
like
for the
this.
record,
It always is.
time.
There we go.
Hey, GG.
Yeah.
Very good, dude. Wait,
Yeah,
does the
that-
king dance at the end of all this, like he did in
No,
Sneak King? 'Cause that'd
he
be-
gives a little fist bump, but that's it. There's not a,
okay.
not a lot of fanfare there.
Fair enough.
You just get this nice congratulations.
Kefka, I want to hear your story.
Yes, yeah. Give us the story.
Oh, yeah. So, back in like 2014, late 2013 or so, when I first started speedrunning in general, I had a friend who randomly went to a GameStop, saw a copy of Sneak King, thought it was hilarious. He knew I was into speedrunning, and he bought it for me as a joke and gave it to me at a party and said, "Oh, you should speedrun this." And I was like, you know what? I think I will, and I did.
No one challenges
I was like,
you.
I was like, all right, fine. You know what? I'll even get it into a GDQ, and I did.
Yeah, we
Amazing.
sure did.
That's crazy that your friend challenged you on a joke, and you're like, I'm going to take it to the top. I'm going to get the world record, and I'm going to show it off on the biggest stage.
I love it.
Literally the mindset. I was like, I'm gonna do it legit. Heck with it. So I just
Yep.
did. And it was fun.
And you
That's
sure
great.
did. But yeah, that's all. Yeah, apologies for whatever happened with the estimate there. If needed, yeah, like I could show off Battle Royale if you want, but I know we're a little bit behind, but there's some schedule changing going on, so I will leave that up to the producer.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and we'll send it back to intermission, and we'll get the next run going. So
Yeah, so appreciate everybody for having me. It was fun being on the couch for Sneak King. It's fun getting to run these Burger King games for y'all. I hope you enjoyed the rest of the marathon. Keep donating, keep getting your funds in for Save the Children. A lot of great runs in there, and this is only weekend one, so make sure you come back for weekend two next week.
Absolutely.
That's it for me.